Chapter 1. Moving Can Be Good for You. Matthew had read somewhere, in one of those hoary lists with which newspapers and magazines fill their columns on quiet days, that moving house was one of the most stressful of life's experiences, even if not quite as disturbing as being the victim of an armed robbery or being elected president, nemine contradicenti, of an unstable South American republic. Matthew faced no such threats, of course, but he nevertheless found the prospect of leaving India Street for the sylvan surroundings of 9 Mile Burn extremely worrying. And it made no difference that 9 Mile Burn was, as the name suggested, only 9 miles from the centre of Edinburgh. "What really worries me," he confessed to Elspeth, "is the whole business of selling India Street. What if nobody wants to buy this flat? What then?" He looked at her with unconcealed anxiety. He could imagine what it was like not to be able to sell one's house. He had recently been at a party at which somebody had whispered pityingly of another guest, "He can't sell his flat, you know." He had looked across the room at the poor unfortunate of whom the remark was made, and had seen a hodden-doon, depressed figure visibly bent under the burden of unshiftable equity. That, he decided, was how people who couldn't sell their house looked. Shadowy figures, wraiths as dejected and without hope as the damned in Dante's Inferno, haunted by the absence of offers for an unmovable property. He had shuddered at the thought and reflected on his good fortune at not being in that position himself. Yet here he was, deliberately courting it. Elspeth's attitude was more sanguine. She had been unruffled by their previous moves, from India Street to Murray Place, and then back again to India Street. The prospect of another flit, a Scots word that implies an attempt to evade the clutches of creditors, suggests misleadingly that moving is an airy, inconsequential thing, did not seem to trouble her, and she had no concerns about the sale of the flat. "But of course somebody will want to buy it," she reassured him. "Why wouldn't they? It's one of the nicest flats in the street. It's got plenty of room and bags of light. Who wouldn't want to live in the middle of the Edinburgh New Town?"